Hey, everybody. I got it. I'm trying to speak more quietly.
What are you, Andy Griffith? Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
What are you saying?
This week,
that was
well, I mean, Louis, you got a migraine. I don't know. I'm so used to being like, "Huh," but then it's, then I'm too loud. So I don't know how to regulate. So I'm just, we'll just do Andy Griffith. Like, I don't even, what?
Actually, yeah.
Hey, everybody. This week on Star Wars Sucks.
I mean, you can do it with the same enthusiasm. Just less the volume.
I don't know how to do that.
Right.
Like I'm enthusiastic. I'm like,
Hey,
really?
everybody.
Just turn the mic down and do it normal.
Hey, everybody. No, I don't know. I don't know. Hey, everybody. No. Hey, this week on Star Wars Sucks, we're starting our long journey into the Clone Wars, and we're going to be talking about the newest episode of The Acolyte, everyone's favorite. And Louis has a migraine, so I'm going to try my very best to keep it down. No, there's okay. Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I can tell already. It's just going to be a great show. Stick around, everybody. Howdy, succulents. I was waving at the camera. I'm not even on camera. I don't know why. This podcast. I know. We're so fucking up. Yeah. Not we, me. I'm fucking up. Anyway, welcome to Star Wars Sucks, your non-toxic, low-sodium Star Wars show that doesn't make you feel bad for not knowing that R5-D4 was almost purchased by Luke's Uncle Owen and eventually ended up in the workshop of Pelimoto. Bad motivator. All that. Who would have thunk it? So we're not going to make you feel bad for not knowing that because most people don't. And that's perfectly fine. So whether you're a hardcore fan or just a little Swarsy Curious, this is your Star Wars safe space. And we are the Circle of Nerds, and we do so very much love Star Wars, even if we don't always like it. So let's go around the horn and meet the team. To my left, your right, star of stage and screen, it is the sensational Sherry.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Oh, I don't know. I feel like I'm at work on the phone.
With 2 R's and 1 Y, but it's not where you think. And from the outer rim territory of Bostoween, who's nursing a migraine, but he is still here doing the show.
Nice job.
We love you, Daddy Louie.
Hello, children.
Poor Daddy Louie. All right.
How's everyone doing today?
Better than you, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Welcome to Daddy Louie's ASMR studio.
ASMR theater. Let's go. It's going to be super fun. Wow. I'm really in the mood for it.
Oh, my God.
I see.
And hailing from parts unknown, it's T to the Oni.
Welcome back to the galaxy, everybody.
Yeah. And I am Tommy D, your more than slightly obnoxious Star Wars know-it-all. So what are we doing here? If this is your first time joining us, we are on a mission to watch all of the Star Wars canon films and TV shows in chronological order, breaking them down, connecting the dots, and learning a little bit more about Star Wars and maybe a bit more about ourselves as well. Who knows? Warning up front, there is going to be spoilers. I got to get that Stewie button that says spoiler alert. I've been saying that for like 5 years on all of our other shows. I got to get that. And I never will, but I'm just going to keep saying it. So, all right. So this week we're talking about the Clone Wars animated film, which kicks off the animated series. And we're also going to be talking about episode 7 of The Acolyte. But first, let's get into this Clone Wars thing. So the Clone Wars animated movie takes place chronologically, and this is interesting. I just found this out today, actually. Chronologically, between season 1 and season 3, there's 2 specific episodes where, and I remember this because it's the Battle of Christophsis, I believe. Christophsis, I think, yeah.
Nice.
So even though it is kind of like the kickoff, it does take place chronologically kind of out of order with the way that we watched it. But there's reasons we watched it in this order. So the film came out in 2008, and George Lucas said that it kind of felt like an afterthought because they were watching clips from the animated series and just kind of threw it together. So it did well in the box office, but critically not so much. There's a lot of bad blood circulating around the movie.
What we watched today was in the theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that came out in the theater.
Oh,
so yeah,
I had no idea.
Yep. So it came out in theaters 2008 and is set 22 ABY. Now, what's important about this movie, it's not high cinema. We all know that. But what's important about this, in my opinion, is seeing the beginnings, the foundations of the relationships between Anakin and Ahsoka and Rex. So there's a lot of other stuff.
I would also argue Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, that goes without saying. Yeah, that's why I didn't say it. But it's no. But this is no. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. But no, you're absolutely right. It's definitely like we're seeing that growth. But with Ahsoka and Rex, these are new relationships,
right?
With Anakin. So, but we've already seen the development a little bit with Anakin and Obi-Wan from the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to, start getting more into that. And I just feel that this is an important film just because we are seeing the beginnings of some of these relationships that will make other events as we get further on in our journey so much more heartbreakingly crushing. Like I was choked up watching the movie today, just knowing. I mean, I've seen the movie like 10 times, but it's just like knowing the direction that certain characters and relationships take. I'm just like,
yeah, but they got to get there.
I know.
Let them get there.
I'm trying to say anything or spoil anything, but I'm just, let them get there. Let's get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there together. So hopefully for those of you that are listening to the podcast on a weekly basis, I hope you are following along with us and enjoying this ride because it's going to be fun. And we're all going to be in a constant state of pain and anguish as we continue on. So a couple of topics I wanted to touch on and just jump in. So we don't have to go around, but just jump in. If you got something to say, just jump in. We already talked about relationships between Anakin and Ahsoka. That was a big deal, seeing their dynamic over a relatively short period of time. Anakin's reluctance, Ahsoka's desperate need to prove herself as being more than just a youngling,
Yeah.
And, you kind of feel that Anakin doesn't want to take her on because he's not trying to experience any more loss in his life. Maybe, but I feel like this is maybe one of the only good things that Yoda has done in terms of Anakin's development.
Well, I think he was trying to, because when he, spoiler, obviously, when he was like, as long as he can detach later. Right. Basically. Right. He knows that's not going to happen. No, I think he does. I think Yoda might think it's a hope. It's a hope. Yes. It's a hope.
It's a new hope.
But it's a hope that he will. But you can see once he attaches himself to her, that's it. And like you can see it in his face. Like she's my Padawan. Right. I'm responsible. But much more. A lot more. A lot more. It's in that little interaction is what I'm saying. Since it's been such a short period, and she has such a huge persona for such a little thing. Like seeing her walk out for the first time off of that shuttle. Yeah, with confidence. And she's just teeny tiny little Ahsoka with the big eyes, and she's just like ready to go. Rex is like, she was like, well, technically I outrank you. Oh, right off the bat.
And Rex is like, well, no, in my book, experience outranks everything. And her response was, well, I guess I better start getting some experience. Let's roll. I mean, she is snips. She is snippy.
Well, for me, it was like, because we got to see her born
as an infant,
basically, as an infant, and what she could do. All I can imagine when I saw this was, and I've seen it before, but I can just imagine what's going to happen later.
Yeah.
Even though I know some of it, but But
even if you knew nothing,
you can see from how powerful she was then. What do you think she's going to do as an adult?
And boy, does she have a fucking story arc, man.
So but that's my take on it.
So if you guys, for those of you who are new to Star Wars, stick with us because y'all are in for a wild ride.
Wild emotional.
With Ahsoka. So she's a great character. I mean, she really is a great character. When we were up in Boston for Fan Expo, I had a chance to talk with Ashley Eckstein, the lady that does the voice of Ahsoka. And, we were chit-chatting about the character a little bit, and she is really deeply invested in Ahsoka. It was great hearing her talk about how she really gets into the psychology of the character. Like she's not just reading lines on paper. I mean, she is Ahsoka. She is. Yeah. Ashley is Ahsoka, and she loves the character. A lot of actors, especially voice actors, are just like, I do it. I have fun with it. Let's roll. Let's ride. And then, that's it. But she embodies Ahsoka, and it's just great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and there's going to be a lot to do with that. Another thing I was thinking about, Palpatine is a dick.
Yeah,
like he's a genius. Like he's like in Harry Potter when Ollivander was talking to Harry about Voldemort. And he was like, he did great things. Terrible, but great.
Yep.
That's Palpatine, but he's just an asshole.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And he cares. He gives
zero fucks. And it's just seeing all the orchestration behind this, stealing, like kidnapping the baby and Rhoda, I think that's Stinky's name, I think, right? Is that correct? Jabba's kid.
I don't remember them saying it at all, but
I don't remember them saying it either. No. And I just watched it a few hours ago.
Yeah, we did too. So I just heard him. They just called him Stinky.
No. When Jabba was talking, he mentioned in Huttese he mentioned him as Rhoda.
Oh, I didn't read that part.
You guys don't speak limited Huttese? No.
Oh yeah.
No,
that's not an option on my closed captioning. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
that's not.
I'm not fluent, but I mean, you pick things up here and there. So, all right.
That's all I know.
Dewanawanga. There I go.
Shit.
All right. So, Palpatine, your thoughts on this evil genius? I mean, anyone?
So,
anyone?
I feel like, and if anybody else has contrary thoughts, let me know. I feel the same way about him in this regard as I felt about the Joker in most cases, where it's not so much that they're a genius, it's just that they have they've thought about things where it's like, okay, well, if this happens, then I can play it off this way. And if this happens, I can play it off this way. Like, it's not that there's a cohesive plan. It's just, okay, well, if this fails, he's a spin artist is what he is.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
He's got an evil plan, don't get me wrong, but it's more of a, regardless of what happens, I know how to spin it so that I come out on top anyways.
Yeah, he doesn't, none of Palpatine's plans fail. It's like everything, like if something fails, it's designed to fail. Like it fails on purpose. So whether Dooku would have gotten Rhoda to Jabba or not is completely irrelevant. Palpatine still gets what he wants one way or another. He would have either gotten the trade routes, which he didn't get, or which he did get, you know, and he pushes Anakin a little bit further along. Or if Dooku would have got there, then he would have got the trade routes for the Separatist side, which still works in Palpatine's favor.
Well, I mean, he's playing both fields.
Well, he is both fields.
No, I know, but he's mastering both fields.
Yeah, which is why he can't lose. He's betting on himself and against himself, like, and every step of the way.
I think his end game is Anakin. He doesn't care who else suffers, to be honest with you. For some reason, he cares for Anakin.
Because he knows the power that's in him.
He does, but now, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if there's more to it.
I mean,
now the witch. Well, anyway, that's the Acolyte.
We'll get to the Acolyte in a minute.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, I was just about to spoil a bunch of stuff, so I guess I won't do that.
Wait, what?
Just do
it. Go ahead, Louis. What?
No, I was going to spoil a bunch of stuff.
Like a bunch of stuff, like all at once. Holy shit!
Or just
the movie? But I want from the from future stuff.
Oh yeah,
based off of what we're talking, I'm trying to keep it. You know,
it's hard.
That's why I just said Endgame.
That's why I think it's going to be so much fun for us when we start watching things that we haven't seen. I mean, we all know for the most part how things end and wrap up, but there's so much meat in the middle that we're not, because I'm looking forward to watching Rebels. I haven't seen all the episodes of Rebels. I've seen all of the Clone Wars, but you guys haven't. So I think that's going to be a fun ride. But yeah, I mean, for us, it's already spoiled because we know, but it's connecting the dots. It's, you know, and I think for us that we, you know, for knowing what we know, but not seeing everything in the middle, I think things are going to get like so much clearer for us. I think we're going to end up with a deeper attachment and understanding of Star Wars, more so than we already have now.
Well, even for me, like with Dooku, I have an attachment to him because of what we're doing.
Right.
Because obviously I knew him, but I didn't know why. And so the why was important.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you're seeing him in this movie, and he's still just like Count Douchebag.
He is.
But you you know, but you get it though.
You do.
You have a better understanding of what's going on behind his thought process. So overall, what did we think about the movie? Like what were your thoughts? It's got a bad rap, but I don't really want to talk about like, you know, the critical aspects of it, but you know, in terms of the story, in terms of, you know, getting us to know these characters and getting us set up for this animated universe that we're about to dive into. What are your thoughts on that?
So I guess I'll say that it makes sense now that you mentioned that this does take place technically like a couple seasons into what we're about to start watching.
Yeah, between one
because
episode,
like had we not watched the micro series, like I have no idea who Ventress is.
Right.
So I mean, there's certain things like that where it's character wise where, you know, there's a presumption that we know these people, but we don't.
Right.
But I thought it was a great introduction to youngling Ahsoka as opposed to baby Ahsoka.
She's a Padawan.
I did think it was interesting.
Not a youngling. She would smack you around for saying that, calling her a youngling. She's like, I'm a
if
Padawan.
Either Ashley or Rosario want to smack me around, that's absolutely fine.
Hey,
That's a different show. That's a different show.
That's a show I'd like to be on as well.
Late
That's
night.
what I'm saying.
Louis, what about you, sir?
I was one of those people who had some disdain towards the movie going in, but I really did try and sit down and watch it with a fresh set of eyes. And to my joy and surprise, my daughter decided to sit down and watch the movie with me.
Awesome.
Nice.
And she, about halfway through the movie, she said, "Have you seen this movie before?" And I said, "Yeah, so have you." And because we saw it in theaters. So it's the first half of the movie is actually pretty good. And I actually took notes because one thing that I wanted to kind of as like light side, dark side going into it was some of the character designs. So like I really think that they nailed a lot of the character designs to bringing some of the live action characters into the show. Like Dooku's character design in this movie was
he had a big ass mustache.
Fantastic.
His mustache was half his face. Like he,
right.
Like,
well, it's the drawing. It's the drawing.
Right, but it's the vibe. It's like they're capturing a vibe, not like a 1-for-1 replica of live action. They weren't going for Christopher Lee. They were going for that vibe, and I agree with you, Louis. I think it captured the hell out.
But then towards the end of the movie does it seems to kind of drag on a little bit towards the end. Like this, the whole premise of the plot is essentially a side mission, right? As is most of the filler episodes. This felt like a filler episode turned into a long movie. But then again, the introduction to these new characters, which I know are going to be important going into the show, like, first time meeting Rex, first time meeting Ahsoka, first time meeting Ventress, first time meeting, I don't know, did we meet not Count Dooku, General Grievous? I can't even remember if General Grievous is in the movie.
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
No, okay. So I understand the importance of the movie. It felt a little long towards the end, but there's some great battle sequences. There's, like seeing Anakin face off against Dooku was cool. The opening battle sequence, like the big battle sequence with Anakin and Obi-Wan before Snips even gets there.
Yeah,
that whole sequence is freaking awesome.
So badass. Like you see both of them and Rex too. You just see the three of them just doing fucking cool shit.
Yeah. Those are some really, really, really cool scenes. So overall, I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. It's definitely something that all Star Wars, if you have any interest in getting into the Clone Wars lore and history period, that whole Ahsoka arc, this is a must watch. Like you can't skip this one.
Essential. And I agree with you, man. It's like the like even like when it opens, you hear like it opens with that battle chatter.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. Like it sets it up like this is something new and different, and it's gonna be deep. I mean, you're hearing that chatter, and then the announcer comes in like, the old World War II movie tone news thing, that was really cool. Battle on Christosis, Obi-Wan, General Kenobi, and Skywalker's beleaguered troops are on the ropes, and blah, blah, blah. That whole thing. And it was just, it was so cool how they did that. And I think it just really sets the tone and the vibe for the entire series, but we're not,
I will say, like,
the direction it's going to go.
Yeah. I did note that the soundtrack was particularly really cool. Like during like the battle sequences, there was like some hardcore like metal guitar riffs going on in the background. And when the movie was over with, I asked my daughter, she's 16, said, what do you think? And she said, I really liked it. I thought that Stinky was really cute. Every time like they would show like Stinky all sick and stuff, she would go, "Aw, looks so sad and so cute." But
he's like
I
a Grogu.
then tried to roll into, since she was here, I snuck on episode 1 of the TV show. I was like, well, maybe I can just roll right into that and she'll like that. And about halfway through the episode, she dipped up and left. And I was like, what's going on? She was like, the movie was good, but not enough to get me to want to watch more.
Just like, right. Nice trick, Dad.
That's all right.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. Peace out.
No, not right. Yeah.
So I will say I really did like the beginning, like the kind of announcer voice.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll say it threw me off later because there's one of the I don't know if he's a captain, one of the people on the ships.
That is him.
Sounds way too much like that voice.
It is him.
It threw me off. Like
Admiral
Yularen, or was it this person giving us an update? Like
I loved his voice.
Like it's a great voice. It just threw me off because I'm like, wait, is that?
Yeah,
it's the same guy.
Yeah, that's Admiral Yularen. Yeah, and I think Tom Kane does the voice. I think.
Yeah, it is super over the top.
It is, but it sounds so good.
I love it.
It sounds so good.
It's like so professional sounding too.
And we see him again. Like we're seeing him as a young man, but we see him on the Death Star. He's one of the admirals that sits around the table.
Spoiler.
Oh my bad.
In live action?
Live action, yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Does that spoil?
In episode 4.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. My bad.
He just shows up somewhere.
I won't. Okay.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, it's cool. Like there's a few, like supposedly I think they've made this official now, but Rex is in Return of the Jedi. He was they've retconned it to be
the old man,
the old guy. Yeah. So he's yeah. I'll show you.
You got to show me that.
Okay. Yeah. It's a bit of a stretch because it's like, oh man, it's like with the rapid aging of the clones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you know what? It's fun. It's like, it's fun. It's whatever. I liked the assault on the Teth Monastery. That was like my favorite bit.
Oh yeah.
In the whole movie. It was giving hardcore like Vietnam movie vibes when they were in the drop ship and red lights, like, oh, green light, go, go, go. And they opened the doors and it's just like boom, 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 boom. And as they were going and they were in a jungle, so it gave off like I like Vietnam War movies. So it gave off like some really cool Vietnam War vibes. But that whole
Fortunate Son to kick in.
That would have been cool. You know what? If you take like a Vietnam War movie soundtrack and lay it on top of that battle, it would fit perfect.
You should do it.
You know what? We might have to do that because it would fit perfect. Fortunate Son. We got to get out of this place.
You should do it. That'd be a great.
Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones. I mean,
that would be great on social media and stuff.
Like seeing them come in, it's like, I see a red door and I want to paint it black. And then like, oh man. Anyway. And then like the walkers climbing up the side of the fucking mountain, Anakin and Ahsoka racing to the top.
I really liked Ahsoka.
Oh man.
Jumping on
the walker
and basically helping the clone that was in there. Cause he would have got shot in the glass.
Yeah. So and she was deflecting. I thought
that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And she was rocking it. And then her and Anakin and Anakin fucking took the battle droids. What are those? It's a STAP.
I don't know what it's called.
Aerial platform, STAP aerial. I think aerial. Anyway, the things that the droids were flying, the battle droids were flying.
Yes.
And fucking Anakin commandeers one. And he's like, Rex, follow me. And
Rex looks at him like,
all right, sir. It's like,
yeah,
I'm still climbing up this fucking rope, but all right. but he's so loyal to Anakin. It's really cool. But that whole sequence, that whole scene was just so cool. So cool.
Yeah, I really like this Anakin.
This is my Anakin.
Because he's not, he seems really confident, even though you can see he's still got some conflicting,
of course,
some emotions, but he's not whining about them.
No.
And that's my favorite.
And Sherry, you and I talked about this a little bit. And guys, I want to know if you like how you feel about this, but this movie really, really shows Anakin has a big heart. I mean, the way that he constantly, I mean, he wasn't even hard on Ahsoka, but he said what she needed to hear, but then he was always encouraging after it. When he was like, you wouldn't, you're reckless. You wouldn't make it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you just might make it as mine. And she got that big smile on her face. Mm-hmm. So he's tempering the training with kindness. And he has just a big caring heart that everybody fucks with. And it makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Palpatine uses his heart against him. The Jedi won't let him embrace that love that he has. Had the Jedi been different, in terms of love and attachment, I really believe, and I know how corny this sounds before it comes out of my fucking mouth, but I do believe that if Anakin would have been able to tap into his love instead of the hate,
correct,
we would not have had Darth Vader.
Correct.
That shit would not.
And what
100%.
do we feel? And what does well, we'll talk about it later.
No, what?
No, I really keep thinking of ways to insert spoilers, and I'm trying to keep it.
No, I know it's hard though.
Yeah, he's. I don't know. I think Ahsoka was placed there by Yoda to circumvent what was already happening, and Yoda knew it.
Yeah,
I really do, because you see how she changes him.
Oh yeah.
And it was just a short period of time for him to make little decisions that he knew were wrong. And then she's like, well, why don't we do it like this? And then he's like, okay. Right. You know what I mean? So he's taking her advice off the bat, which I think that's why Yoda already knew Ahsoka. Obviously, he's known her since a youngling.
Sure.
He knew that her bright and loud personality would kind of envelop Anakin. I think that was his hope.
And they're both troublemakers. And I think that by Anakin seeing how much of a troublemaker she is, while he's reining her in, he's also kind of reining himself in. But she's
reining him in
But then they both encourage each other to be reckless as fuck.
Yes, but I don't know. For the good, I think.
It's a great pairing.
It's a really good pairing.
It's like a great pairing. And I love their relationship. And I love the relationship between Ahsoka and Rex as that starts to grow as well.
Well, and I just see her like doing all these things, and all it does is remind me of her being on that freaking cat and saving herself as a freaking infant that couldn't even speak.
There you go.
I mean, she didn't even speak yet.
Oh, Sherry, you're in for such a good ride. Such a good ride.
So I thought that was really cute that because you could see the same eyes as an infant she has now.
Yep.
And just with more vigor and confidence.
Oh yeah.
So obviously her leaving her family was a good thing, to be honest. I mean, I think there's some that would benefit, yes, because the Force is so strong with them. But the Jedi still are, doing shit they shouldn't.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about that here in just a minute. But Louis, you had mentioned that there were some slow spots towards the end of the movie, like the second third of it. I think like the first 2/3, I think were pretty good, but that last that last third.
Basically, when we realized, for me, it was like when they introduce, what was it? The other Hutt's name, Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole thing with Zero and Padme.
Yeah, Padme's character design in this movie was not the best.
They like showing her ass though. They kept.
They did.
She lost her cape. They kept pushing her down on her knees. They threw her into the cell, and she fell in the cell ass up. I mean, they knew what they were doing with Padme's little booty.
But you're right, it was a little filler.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But you know what? I was just thinking about when you had mentioned that about it kind of being a filler, and there's always some plot holes in Star Wars, anything, whether it's a TV show or a movie. It's like Star Wars. I don't want to say that the writing has always been bad, but the writing's kind of always been bad for Star Wars. And it's, and it's not so much, I think, how they get there, but it's where they're going.
Right.
So are there plot holes along? You know what I mean? It's like there's plot holes, there's slow spots, but I think ultimately it's about what happens at the end of that particular journey or that particular act. It's not so much, how they get there. It's just what happens at the end of that, or what happens when they get there, what's been learned, what's been changed, and I think that's what we're seeing here. It's like this whole thing with Zero and Padme, it did feel unnecessary, but at the same time it wasn't. It's like they had to get them there somehow. There had to be a reason to get Anakin back to Tatooine and to have that moment between him and Ahsoka where he just will not talk about it. And she knows that he's got some past history here, and it's not great. So we had to get Anakin to Tatooine. We had to resolve shit. I think ultimately that's what this was about. Like all this stuff. It could have been anything. It didn't have to be Jabba's son. It could have been a crate of spice.
It could have been anything in the story.
It could have been anything, any device. But we had to get Anakin and Ahsoka to Tatooine.
Again, like Louis said, they just had a hard time developing it.
Yeah.
And it took a little longer than it probably should have.
Yeah.
That's all.
Like this could have been to be honest, this probably could have not been a movie and just been like 2 episodes.
I thought it was a show. So
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
But I mean, it was fine.
I've seen some of the, more impactful arcs from the show that we're obviously going to watch, and knowing how good some of those arcs are, like this movie could have been a really strong arc, like some of those later episodes. You know what I mean? Like this just felt like a long story arc from the show that, while the introduction of the characters are important, and obviously seeing the birth of this relationship between Anakin and Ahsoka, the overarching quest of this arc really had no major impact on the story, because I can't imagine that beyond this movie we really see the impacts of the Jedi having a strong relationship with Jabba.
No. None of that was.
Well, I think it was just opening the trade route.
Yeah, none of that was relevant.
Well, I mean, they needed it.
No. I know, on a world building level, yes, they did.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I think that's what they're trying to do.
So yeah, that was relevant. Of course, for the war effort, that was relevant.
Yeah, but with Jabba and them, no.
No, this movie, if you really, really break it down, in my opinion anyway, if you really break it down, into its component parts, this was Anakin and Ahsoka. That's what this movie was about. It wasn't about anything else. It was putting them in situations and getting them to start building that family between the two of them.
Well, and I think the separation of Obi-Wan and
I love
Anakin.
it. That is such a good point. He had to get out from under Obi-Wan's shadow.
He did.
Yeah.
And I think this again, I think that's what Yoda was trying to do to change the outcome. Because I think he knows the outcome, to be honest with you. He knows at least some of it, maybe not the whole picture, but he knows.
Yeah.
He knows what's happening.
And that's a great point. And like if we're thinking about it from a storytelling perspective, and honestly, Sherry, I've seen this movie so many times, I never thought about it like that. It wasn't just about Anakin and Ahsoka bonding. It was getting Anakin out on his own so he could grow into a teacher.
Yes, because he now he can make the mistake and then be like, oh shit, I have a Padawan. I can't be this reckless or she's gonna die.
And there's no one there to hold him accountable, just himself. He doesn't have, it's like he's got Obi-Wan's shadow, but Obi-Wan's also a safety net in some ways. In some ways, yes. So by things kind of turning out the way that they did, plot holes and all. Yes. I think that this movie set out to do exactly what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to get Anakin and Ahsoka together to begin their journey, their personal journey as student and teacher. Well, and I think it did that beautifully. And that way, him and Obi-Wan can actually, I know they're friends, but actually be friends. He's no longer your master. Yeah. That's Obi-Wan now. That's General Kenobi. But he still calls him master. He does. And that's out of respect. But I think that's out of love. Oh, it is. Of course it is. Because he has so much love. Anakin has so much love. And so I think that was the point, is to pull them apart. It needed to happen. So it's a great movie. I mean, if you really look at it like that, in the terms of the story of Anakin and Ahsoka, this was a pivotal movie, and it was great writing. And you can see Rex being part of it. Oh yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it's like, when you look back and you really look at Rex's role in this, it was minimal. It was minimal, but he is that loyal guy, loyal to a fault, and not just because he's trained and programmed to be that way. You feel that from Rex, But I do like that Ventress, or is it Ventress? Ventress. Ventress is our friend. Sorry. Ventress. Couldn't control him. No. His mind control. I thought that was hilarious. When he said, Anakin, where are you? Yeah, he would never call him. No. I love that. And that's loyalty. And that was one of those little, like, you really wouldn't notice it. Not, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's great. But yeah, man, so I love that. Getting him away from Obi-Wan. I'm geeking out over that. That's fucking cool. I've never ever thought of it. I've never looked at it like that. It's the mom philosophy. It is. And you know what? And for me, that just changed the entire tone of the movie. So all of the little faults that you can find with the movie, now here's the why. Here's the why. There's always a why that plugs some of those plot holes. I think it's like, we had to get him out of there somehow. Jabba the Hutt's son. It's like, okay, yeah, that is whatever. So, and then how about Asajj and Obi-Wan? They had some sexual tension going on. No, they didn't. They did. They didn't. He even calls her my darling. Oh my god. He even says there was some tension. That's what you got tension, but that's not. Well, we need to talk about that, but that's a different show. That's a different show. That's a different show. OnlyFans. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no. I did not feel that at all. If no, I was feeling the sexual tension between Obi-Wan and Asajj Ventress. You guys, what do you think?
I did not.
Tony,
it was there. Come on.
I did not see it as sexual tension, but it was very clear that they had a history prior to the events of this movie.
Sure.
And I'm curious to see that, but I don't think it was sexual.
I don't know, man. There was some animalistic tension there. I felt it.
She would bite off his wiener.
No, I don't.
She is crazy.
What?
She is. I would not touch that bitch with a 10-foot pole. She's
listen, she likes being force choked. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Oh well, she might.
No,
I don't think he's into.
She's the choker. She's not the chokey. I don't think she's
the choker.
I don't think she's into choking, but just she doesn't want to get
others.
Most of the times, the bad girls just need somebody to put them in their place.
From us now.
Sorry,
no, I think this is starting to go exactly where it needs to go. Tom started it.
Man. This has gotten.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially bringing back Star Wars and dicks.
Star Wars and dicks.
But anyway,
is cute though.
She is not. She looks gross.
She doesn't look
and
gross.
she looks dirty. Let's take a bath.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of dirty, sexy, dirty clone boys. What the fuck? The battle on Christophas, when we see them just filthy. I love seeing dirty clones. I don't know.
That's because you're a customer. Let's get that straight here today.
Those
it's because
dirty
he's a
boys.
Customer, not some weird shit.
Those dirty boys. But what was cool, like when the Coruscant guards, clone troopers, I don't remember what legion they're from, but when they busted into Zero's place to rescue Padme, they were clean. They were a little dusty, but they were clean. But when we see our boys,
they're fighting.
I know. I'm just saying that's a nice touch.
I mean, that's what you look like in the field. I mean, I don't understand.
I mean, I will say though, he has a good point. There's a lot of times in animation where they completely ignore that. It's like, this is your character model. We don't care what happens to you. This is your character model.
Right.
So it is nice to see that they actually paid attention to that and made difference.
But that's what I'm saying. As a customer, that's what he's going to see.
Dirty boys.
He's over here acting like he's attracted and shit. Calm down. It's just some weathering.
Sexy, dirty boys. Go get him, lads.
When he starts yours, Tony, he'll be real excited to do the weathering.
No, because for Tony's, I got to keep it relatively.
Hopefully you'll take advantage of that. So I mean, it's all good.
No, because it's with the Moon Knight thing. I got to keep it somewhat clean.
Why Moon Knight gets a little dirty?
No, I don't think he does.
I agree. His whole thing is he's willing to take punishment in order to get close and do more damage.
Yeah, but every time he summons. It's a magical suit though. Every time he summons it, it goes into like, you know.
But it can be in the middle.
True, but that's
it goes
that's
what
the
into
cloak,
like the dry cleaner that's in like his body.
Yeah, it's like the ethereal dry cleaners.
The whole beauty of Beskar and armor is that you can weather it. Now the cloth and everything that's part of his outfit, that's going to be fresh. That's going to be clean.
Sure.
But the armored bits are going to be armored bits, and they're going to take that damage and hold it.
I don't have any of the armored bits. I've just got the
chest piece is armored.
Yeah, but it's covered in the wrappings.
Listen, I think
that's fine.
I think it should be in between a battle before the dry cleaners. That's just my take on it.
All right, so I'm gonna do it. All right, when I do it,
would you agree, Tony? Though, because I mean, sure.
I agree.
Or do you,
I agree
want
completely.
it pristine?
No,
you want to look like you just were in a battle.
I know I've sent pictures of this before, but I'll send it again. I mean, the look that I'm going for from him is damaged.
All right.
Even his cloak and whatnot has holes and rips in it. Like it's designed to be that way.
Correct. Little burning.
All right. I'll burn it up then.
I'll get a little flamethrower.
I'll burn it up. All right. So Clone Wars, what are you guys thinking? Louis, you already said it's a must watch. Sherry, Tony, what do you guys think?
I think it's a must watch.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to say it's a critique. It's just for me personally.
Sure.
I'm not a huge fan of this particular style of animation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I hear that a lot.
But I mean, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not watching it for that. I'm watching it for the story. And
exactly.
As far as the story is concerned, absolutely, you got to watch it.
Like how much of the Clone Wars have you seen?
None.
Okay, so I promise you that, because I wasn't a fan of the animation style either. I really liked the animation style from the micro series. That was my favorite. But I promise you that by the time you get deeper along with the Clone Wars, you're not even going to see it anymore. You're not even going to see it. You're just going to be so invested in the characters and the storyline. Exactly. It's not even going to matter. So you're going to be good to go. All right. So
I will say, and you might consider this a hot take in this case.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, as much as this particular style of animation was not my favorite, I sincerely prefer this much more over the micro series. As far as the animation style. I mean, my particular animation style that I prefer is more like Bad Batch.
Okay. Well, it's very simple. I mean,
that's the kind of animation style that I really like.
But that's where this comes from. I mean, Bad Batch evolved from the Clone Wars animation style. So I don't know. I like
this is kind of you. That's the thing with this animation. Like this is the first, iteration of that animation style that we see. But by the time we get to like the last season of the Bad Batch, you can see how they've evolved that animation style and how beautiful it looks.
Oh yeah.
This is definitely not up to that par, but this is definitely the start of that.
It's gonna get there though. And it's gonna get there quick before you know it. It's good stuff. All right. So Acolyte, episode 7, murderers. Jedi murderers.
Well, really just one.
Just the one.
Well, two. Two. So
I don't even know what to say. The Jedi are cops.
I didn't even know they could do that. I didn't even know.
What, the Nightsisters?
Well, I mean, they were just doing their chant and she just
vaped out.
I don't even know what her name. I call her Trinity because that's all I know her as.
Indara.
Yeah. I mean, is that because somebody mentioned a mind bomb?
Oh, you mean when they all died?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so there's the. This is a long time ago. I think it's called a thought bomb.
Well, somebody mentioned it,
and I think Darth Bane did that. He did a thought bomb that killed everybody, including himself. Might not have been Bane. I feel like it was, but thought bomb. It killed everybody on this planet or in this area. It was a forced thought bomb. But it was almost like, and because it's Trinity, it was almost like by her doing that, by her bringing back Jedi Master, that she was like disconnecting them from the Matrix,
right?
And like in the Matrix, like the body cannot live without the mind,
right?
Like Morpheus said.
And when she clicked it.
Yeah,
they were. I was like,
she unplugged them, and that was it. That was a wrap on them. I thought that was dumb, but
I kind of liked it.
I mean, it was interesting, but I thought
because I like the Nightsisters.
That was not the premise. But that is not the way that I thought all of the Nightsisters died.
I didn't either.
I was like, what the fuck?
Agreed.
I thought that was cheap, and I didn't care for it.
Okay,
but
no, I agree completely. I felt that it was, and I know in conversation prior to watching the episode, I expressed a little concern over this, that they were going to make it not as bad as it initially seemed. And this is, to me, one of those things that somebody on the outside could easily justify and say, well, listen, if she didn't do that, the Wookiee was going to beat the shit out of all of them, so she had to do what she had to do. So now, does it make it
Saul's
okay?
willing to murder a Night Sister, but he's not going to kill another Jedi? See, right. Typical cop behavior.
So my question is what, because they were created and they're turning into what was that? Were they turning into the Force?
I don't know.
Because that was cool.
You mean when they were vaping out? That's what I was talking about.
When they were doing but you saw the twin, and I'm assuming the other twin was also doing it.
Yeah, she was starting to take May.
She was going to absorb.
Yeah.
Them and take them away
to get him to safety, like the mother had said.
Yes, she was going to give him to. I don't even know why he pulled out his lightsaber. She wasn't doing anything to threaten them at all. The mother wasn't. The other one's sure, but she wasn't.
The other mother was absolutely threatening,
right?
And I will say, in Saul's defense, if I see one person that is very clearly threatening, and I see another person turn into fucking mist, I think something bad is about to happen.
You're supposed to use your Jedi abilities to sense and to know these things. And
but they straight up just broke into that place.
They did.
Well,
I mean, straight up.
Did. Yeah,
they did.
It was all bullshit. The Jedi were wrong, and
of course they were. Absolutely,
that was fucked up.
Like straight up, it wasn't even like, "Oops, we accidentally found this." No, it was Indara told to slice the door, hack the door, open the door.
Right.
It's like
you couldn't have knocked, bitch.
Right. It's like they fucking like bust up into your house and say, "Hey, by the way, we want to take your kids so we could train them." Get the fuck out! Yeah, you're getting shot.
So it was the 4 of them because the council didn't even agree.
No,
the kids should stay there.
The council said leave them alone. And I bet you Yoda's on the council at this point. So they were like, leave them alone. We'll observe from a distance.
Correct.
Right.
But these 4 motherfuckers.
The question is, like, the way I interpreted it was that Torben basically said, "Fuck it." Like after being manipulated by the witches and whatnot, he basically said, "Listen, I want to get back home to Coruscant. Mm-hmm. I was told that we can't until we figure out the vergence. The girls are proof of the vergence. I'm going to get them, and I don't give a fuck anymore."
You know who Torben was reminding me of?
At that point, it's a question of, okay, well, if the remaining three of them are just trying to stop Torben, yes, they put themselves in a bad situation. Yes, they're still responsible for everything that happens. But I understand the motive of it.
I got you.
I'm calling bullshit on all of it.
Torben did fuck up because he let, that get in his head.
Of course. Indara stood against an entire Nightsister coven, disconnected them all from the Matrix, but she couldn't stop Torben on that speeder bike with the Force. She couldn't have been like, zoom, got him, calm down.
Again, that was a bad story.
Come on. I can't. Yeah. And please, I just want someone to answer this, please, for me, please. Why are these motherfuckers rock climbing and shit up the fucking? You have the Force.
Jump.
Fucking jump.
Yes.
Use the Force to jump. I don't understand. They don't. We see Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon do some badass shit that no one ever sees again. Nope. I was thinking about it the other day. Why do Jedi not zip around like the fucking Flash? It's like, think about it, like the Flash, but with the lightsaber. Joop, joop, joop. Yes, it will expend energy, most definitely. But
it's because the budget doesn't call for that kind of animation.
That's it. There you go. So, but it's like
that. I honestly
you're gonna fucking climb up Mount Everest and you can just jump that motherfucker.
What'd you say, Tony?
I think this goes back to a theory that I have about the Force in general, and it's that the more that you use the Force's extreme abilities, the more tax it puts on your physical body, and the sooner you die.
Those motherfuckers.
Back to how Luke died after he did his.
Okay, that's different. Spoilers. That's different. Yeah, that's a big spoiler, but that's completely different. Doing what Luke did versus using Force jump to go up a side of a fucking mountain. That's completely different, right?
Yeah,
these motherfuckers. I agree with you. I'm just saying that
and all kinds of shit.
No, I get you, Tony.
I'm just saying that like
it's a lot of energy.
I mean, if I want to push the analogy to an extreme point,
yeah,
what Luke does, avoiding the spoilers, is essentially the equivalent of taking a shit ton of meth. What using Force push and Force jump and all that is essentially taking a hit of marijuana.
Right,
it's one of those things of just okay.
Then you crash. Then you crash.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A handful of meth.
This
That's
was
what the Force is.
A handful of meth. There you go. So when we see Yoda fight Dooku and he's fucking jumping and flipping around, he hit that pipe before he went in there. That's not a walking stick. It looks like a walking stick. That's a fucking crack pipe that Yoda has. He hit that shit real quick and like ay, and then fucking went hard on Dooku.
You notice. Let's be honest. We've seen Yoda living in that swamp for how long by himself? He smoked some good shit, period.
So Tony, what you're saying,
some kind of algae.
So what you're saying right now officially is that the Jedi use performance enhancing drugs. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying
the Force itself is a performance enhancing drug? Of course it is.
But they're using drugs
happening right now.
They're using
He said the Force is a drug.
I understand.
I like that. I like that analogy. I know it's not, but it's freaking hilarious.
So the Jedi use performance enhancing drugs.
Well, so does the Sith.
Well, that's the Sith. You
Sith
that.
They have it with fentanyl.
We've seen no evidence of that. We've seen this in this earliest. He claims to be, but Darth Smiley's living in a cave. He's got his cool hot springs. He's eating like veggies. He had edibles. Maybe. I mean, he's always calm and super chill. but that's not for performance enhancing.
He was not calm and super chill, killing people.
Oh, he was defending himself.
Oh, please.
He was defending himself. He came out
of the woods out of nowhere. He didn't have to go. He didn't even have to go there.
He floated down like a boss, though.
He did.
He did. He came down. He came down like a boss. All right. So
anyway,
we have one more episode left.
Yeah, I believe they can wrap it up.
Predictions. We're gonna be left wanting. I can tell you that already. We've got too many questions. Yeah. There needs to be an entire series just on Darth Smiley. How did he become? Because one thing I noticed, because we had and I thought that, because what's his name? Queefer, Quidditch. I can't remember his name.
I don't remember.
Queequay.
Definitely not Queefer.
Did you say Weekway? Who are you talking about?
No, Weekway that's
I know who that is. Who are you talking about?
Weekway is from Return of the Jedi.
Yes, I know.
No, Darth Smiley. What? It's something with a Q. I can't remember.
Oh, his name? I have no idea what his name is. I have no idea. But
Quimir.
Okay.
Qimir. Quimir. I'm gonna call him Darth Smiley.
Darth Smiley's funnier.
I like Darth Smiley better. So, all right. So he's Commander Queefer. And we're just going to run with that then. So I want to see his story. I am so much more interested in him.
We're not going to see it right now. So.
I know, but they need to do that next. Because the watch time for the Acolyte is way, 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 way up, according to the numbers.
All I know, Saul fucked up.
I believe it.
Saul fucked up.
I mean, fucked up.
Saul.
And what was? And I don't want to go down another path with this. But why are you obsessed with this child? And it's not for her safety, you weirdo. What are you doing?
I think that
he was obsessed.
Yeah, he really
it was out of control.
I don't think obsessed in an inappropriate way.
No, I don't mean it that way.
I think something must have happened to him in the past, and he's trying to.
Okay, maybe
something happened. He's got some mommy daddy issues. Clearly,
yeah.
Most Jedi do have mommy daddy.
I feel like he saw this girl. Like his very first time witnessing her is when she's having a fight with the twin,
right?
And he can tell right away that this girl doesn't really want to be where she is. She wants something more, and for whatever reason, whatever's in his background, just that pulled him to her like a fucking beacon.
Yeah.
But when he saw that it was becoming dangerous for both of them, that's when you quit. You're like, okay. And the counselor was like, don't do it. Wow. I mean, he really jacked up.
He did.
And who paid the price? Right now, everyone paid the price but him.
Yeah.
So far.
So he's living with it, but he's not. I think emotionally he's probably paying for it.
But others died.
But once
Tobin took a poison
because of how guilty he felt.
He felt so guilty, he put himself in freaking suspended animation for 16 damn years.
And then took a poison. Like, you know what? I did fuck up. My bad. Clunk. Done.
Right. What the fuck?
But now we know. Now we know what happened. The one positive thing I will say about Saul is he did try to save both twins.
He did, but he made a choice.
He had to make a choice, I think, or he would have lost both of them. But at the same time, I feel like how weak are these people in the Force? Again, Indara couldn't stop Torben from riding away on a bike,
but she can kill.
But she can disconnect everybody from the Matrix with her mental abilities.
Correct.
And how is it that this Jedi Knight, he's a master, I believe. How could he not use the Force to hold up two young girls?
Correct, because according to Yoda,
size matters not.
Size matters not.
So he should have been able to grab both of them.
Correct.
And
pull them towards him.
Right, but he consciously made a choice to go for Osha.
Correct.
And even when she was falling, he didn't use the Force to catch her. He grabbed her.
Yeah, this is part of the thing. Like when he was struggling trying to hold both of them, it wasn't that he was trying to hold them. He was trying to hold whatever bridge or whatever it was that they were on.
Yeah, but now, that's dumb.
If we want to call this just
a poor choice.
Plot hole or
plot hole.
Yeah.
Again, it's a device.
I agree completely. It should be the smarter way to do it is to do what you're suggesting, grab the girls themselves as opposed to trying to hold the thing.
But that wouldn't fit the story.
It wouldn't, and I get it, but it's just seriously. And then I'm curious, when May fell, where did she go and what happened? Because obviously she's still alive. Now, did she use her vanishing ability, or
she could have vaped out?
Well, that's what I'm thinking, because that's the only way. I mean,
but she was also very, very angry.
She was,
and she is very strong. She could have used the Force to slow herself down or to stop herself completely.
I really think she did the vaping.
She could have vaped out, or Darth Smiley might have been there.
Well, she started vaping without the mother at one point, didn't she?
No. The mother, as she was vaping out, May was starting to vape out.
No,
too.
I know, but I thought she did it.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
I don't recall it. You might be right. I don't recall it, but
maybe. Recall. Okay, maybe I was thinking of something else. But anyway,
so predictions for the last episode, and then we'll wrap up for the night. What do you guys think? Episode 8, The Acolyte. Again, not a terrible story. I think it's on par with like the same things that we were kind of bugged about talking about the Clone Wars movie in terms of plot holes. We're seeing those things here. So that's why I won't complain about things like that with The Acolyte, because it's on par with all other Star Wars.
Okay.
So
go.
Anyway, predictions for the last episode, episode 8. Daddy Louie.
I don't know so much predictions as much as what I think I would like to see. And in this case, I want to see perhaps a cameo from a little green,
of course,
little green man. That's really it. I mean, as far as predictions go, I predict that we will still have questions when the show is over with, because I think that at least maybe it's not in the cards now, but at some point in time, the show was designed to be multi-season.
Yeah.
So I am concerned that we're not going to get a full closure to the story. But I do hope. I'm enjoying the possibility of it tying into, the Skywalker stuff, whether it be subtly through, learning more about how life can be created through midichlorians. I like Tobin, saying M count. I liked that a lot, actually. Because I like these new shows, quote unquote, fixing or retconning and adding to what we already know and love in the series. You know what I mean? So
I agree. Tony, what do you think? Any predictions?
Or a wish list? I also predict that we are not going to get a full ending to the story by the end of this next episode.
I agree.
My fear is that, basically speaking, now we've had both the 3rd and the 7th episodes basically be entirely in flashback and both looking at the same exact period in time.
Mm-hmm. But from different perspectives.
I am slightly concerned. Yes, from different perspectives. I am slightly concerned that this next episode is going to be that exact same story, but now from Smiley's perspective.
Okay.
And we're not going to get anywhere further in the actual story. We're just going to see that.
All right.
So that's my fear. Now, my hope is that we see how May responds to Saul's confession, and that we see the Jedi Council made aware of everything that actually happened and see some actual accountability. I don't have a lot of faith that that's going to happen, because in the history of Star Wars, it rarely ever happens. But that's my hope.
All right, Sherry.
Well, I want to know obviously what happens to May, and is that when she meets Darth Smiley?
It should have been May.
But yeah. So I'm curious to that effect too, right. with Darth Smiley if he's going to be in this last episode. But and I don't know what the convergence is.
The vergence?
The
vergence. It's
the vergence.
The vergence, yeah.
What does it entail, and how did you make people?
Well, and that's cool too, because I think they talk about that in the Phantom Menace, don't they? Doesn't Qui-Gon talk about a vergence in the Force?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he does mention something.
The one that will bring I sense a vergence in the Force, and that's when Mace says, you refer to the one that will bring balance to the Force.
So is a virgin just some woman getting pregnant?
Well, they did talk about, remember, they talked about how potentially they were one being.
Yes.
That were split into two.
And that is crazy, because you're never going to get the same on each side, obviously.
So is it like that? I mean, is it almost like where like one of them is quote unquote dark side, the other one is quote unquote light side, and they split them apart so they wouldn't be as powerful as Anakin?
Well, no, because they were saying there's a destiny for them. Even the council thought there was a destiny, because she said that.
They're going to die.
So there's
no doubt about that. They're going to die.
I don't know. I think they would have came together in their little vapor form some way. So I think they're one person already, to be honest. It's like Jekyll and Hyde, except they separated Jekyll and Hyde. That's the only way I can think about it. So, but yeah, I'm just curious to know about, about really how they came to be.
I think we'll learn that.
So.
Okay.
And that's really it. I mean, I think it's an interesting story.
So. I think we're going to learn that. I think we're going to learn how they came to be in some way. Maybe it might be vague, but we're going to have a little bit better understanding.
Right.
But I do think that we're going to see them as one being that was split into two, because they've already alluded to that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Maybe they're supposed to. That was the whole point of, getting the mark. Maybe,
But they got to keep them separate. Got to keep them separated. But for whatever reason,
the mother was going to let them separate for a minute. So she knew something.
Maybe for the greater good.
I think so.
Maybe for the greater good. They cannot. So. They can't be one being. As one being, they would be way too powerful. So maybe that's why they were split.
Maybe as one being, they
turned. So I've had this theory for a few weeks now, and I want to run it by you guys here. So the whole thing with the witches as a whole, they're constantly repeating the power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Yeah.
Now, I tend to look at it as the power of one is a reference to the Jedi, is a reference to the quote unquote light side of the Force, where the whole thing is being one with the Force. The power of two is a reference to the Sith and the rule of two and that their whole belief system. And the power of many is rejecting both of those theories and not being good or bad, just being what they are.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, considering the faults that I've seen in both the Jedi and the Sith throughout the course of Star Wars, maybe they have a point.
Correct.
And maybe this whole thing was, they started as one being, they split into two beings. Maybe the eventual purpose was to keep splitting them into more and more.
Because that was another thing that we were talking about as well, was speaking of splitting and things like that. The Jedi had said that the witches don't raise children. So it was odd that they would even have children in their presence, because they're not known to raise children. They also don't keep company with men. So how do they procreate? How do the covens, do they just Is it just, women from different, I mean, obviously we did see different species of witches in there when they were all doing the whole.
No, I think Tony's right.
Or do they come off of like, they split, they do
no, I don't. I think
they
they're
create out of one another through in the Force.
No, I think they're Jedi, or they're Force sensitive creatures.
Yeah, see, I think that like, to get back to the theory of what a vergence is, considering the 2 times that we specifically heard it mentioned, I think a vergence is the Force actively choosing to create something out of nothing.
Correct.
So the Force chooses that itself.
Correct. I like that theory. I like that theory a lot. Yeah. And there's a reason for it. So I think you're right.
Instead of people using the Force like the Jedi or the Sith, or in this case, with these covens using, quote, the thread, it's the Force itself saying, hey, there's something that needs to be here and I'm going to create it.
Needs to be fixed or.
And so I think the Force created a child, whether that be May or Osha or some combination of the two. And the witches, knowing that they don't want one, knowing that they don't want two, split the being that the Force created into May and Osha, and perhaps eventually had plans to split it further.
Oh, maybe. That one's far, but I like that explanation of the Jedi 1, the 2, the Sith, and then because there's a lot of Force sensitive out there that are not Jedi, that are not Sith.
Right.
So why wouldn't they come together and be like, what are they doing? Because they weren't doing anything. They were in the woods practicing their craft and doing nothing. It's like some witch trials all over. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They weren't bothering anybody. They were out there doing their thing. And whatever the vergence was either drew them to that planet because that planet was dead, according to the Jedi.
Right.
And now the vergence created the whole planet and either the baby or the girls.
Right.
However it was split. So I think the witches came to take care of these children.
Maybe.
I don't think that was her. I mean, maybe she carried it. Maybe.
It's possible that, like, we know based on what they said in the show, we know that a vergence is like a highly concentrated Force energy,
right? That's
centered around a location. That's what Indara had said.
Well, and there was that hole.
There could be, there was that hole.
So is that where the vergence happened? And that's why now they're worshiping there.
Right. There was, it was an Empire Strikes Back, so maybe we shouldn't talk about it. There was a vergence there. In Empire Strikes Back, there was a virgin.
So.
A vergence, not a virgin.
Well, we'll get there.
There was a virgin too. I'm assuming Luke was a virgin at that time.
He didn't get those power converters.
He didn't get the power converters, and he did not get a chance to hook up with Leia. So, which is good because they would have had some cross-eyed babies.
Gross.
Anyway, which ironically is also a vergence with your eyes. That's in the real world terminology. When both your eyes like focus on like the same thing at the same time, if you're cross-eyed or whatever, it's considered a vergence.
Okay, let's move on now.
So it all works. It all comes back to Star Wars. I love it. All right. All right. We'll wrap it up. My prediction is that Osha's going to kill Saul. And I think that's going to happen.
Okay.
I think once she finds out the truth that he murdered her mother, I think that's going to, she's going to be it. That's going to be it. She's going to snap. And then maybe in that moment, if her and May are in close proximity, they're going to vape up together and form one being. They are going to be a vergence unto themselves, and they are going to form one incredibly powerful being that could potentially be too powerful to exist.
Like Wonder Twins?
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Unite.
Yeah. But I think that she might end up inadvertently killing herself because she's too powerful to exist.
And Osha will live.
No, I don't think.
I think she needs to live.
I think what might happen just to make
somebody's mom.
No, she might.
I think if one lives, I think that neither one of. I think they can't serve. One can't survive without the other.
Yeah,
you're right.
I agree. Yeah. Or if for whatever reason one of them does survive, if Osha survives, something will happen. She'll lose her memory, and then she'll just go.
Maybe she'll
be a farmer or a truck driver or something.
Absorb May back.
Truck driver.
Truck driver.
They have space trucks. It's fine. A freighter pilot. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think.
Okay.
I think Osha's going to kill Saul.
Okay.
And through that act, her and May are going to essentially do the whole ascension thing that they were supposed to do together. They're going to merge, become one incredibly powerful being that may burn itself out.
Was that the ceremony they were doing?
The ascension ceremony. Maybe that ascension was for them to combine. Maybe. I don't know.
I didn't even think about that.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. That's going to do it for us this week. Thank you for joining us. Next week, my little succulents, your homework is to watch episodes 1 through 4, season 1 of the Clone Wars. Spoiler, there's a couple filler episodes. And I think of the 4 episodes, I think 4 of them are filler, or it's going to feel like filler. They're fleshing out the world. Season 1, I will admit,
I've seen the first episode of it many times, and I like it a lot.
Of course you do. Of course you do. I know exactly why you like it.
Don't spoil it.
It's sweet. We'll just say that it's sweet. I don't want to call it. It's not a filler episode. It's building out the world. Worth watching. There will be episodes of the Clone Wars that are not worth watching. Just read the wiki on those if you need to, or forget they exist. It's fine, but we're still going to do it all together. It'll be a good time. We'll see what happens. All right, so that is it.
We'll make a drinking game out of it.
Yeah, we need a Clone Wars drinking game now. We've got one for Young Jedi Adventures, which of course is still incredibly inappropriate. So yeah, but before we take off, I've got the obligatory pimping to do. You know, our corporate bosses make us do this. So I wish we had corporate bosses sometimes.
That's me.
That is, yeah. So all right. So do check us out on all social media. We're not super active on social media, but we post stuff from time to time. We'll get better eventually. So we are at the SWS Show on all social media. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast, either on your favorite platform or on YouTube, wherever you like to listen to the show. And if you'd like to get some really sweet merch, head on over to circleofnerds.com/merch, and you'll find some Star Wars Sucks merch and our Circle of Nerds merch on there as well. And if you'd like to know more about what is coming up next, you can head on over to the website, circleofnerds.com/the SWS Show, and you can see our entire timeline for our season, the roadmap, and all of that good stuff. So anybody have anything on the way out?
Nope. Just have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. All righty, everybody. So, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. If you stuck in here for this hour and whatever, it kind of feels like the Clone Wars movie where, the first half of it was really good, and then the second half just kind of dragged a little bit.
I thought the second half was interesting. I actually woke up. You can suck it.
All right, so the first half dragged a little bit, and the second half woke Sherry up. It's cool. All right.
Shut up.
So tune in next week. Thank you for joining us this week. And as always, if no one does anything nice for you, please, please, please do something nice to yourself. And we are going to see you all next week, bright and early, right here. Same bat time, same bat channel. All right. We love you. Bye.
Bye.